want to start sewing the upper parts of the gown, so I'll start by sewing the front. So this is the center, the side front, and here is the center. So now I will fix the padded. So this is the side that has gum. I'll place the padded like this. Then I will cut it out. And the second one, I will measure. I fold the fabric, the padded into 2, and I'll measure 5. I'll measure 5. Then I'll carve it. You see how I carve it? So the next thing now, I'll gum this one. So I'm fixing the gum. I'm putting gum on it so that the padded will be able to hold on the fabric. You can iron your own, because if you look at the padded, it has gum of its own. So you can iron it if you have lights available. For me, I'm using gum. I hope you can see the gum. This is Stanley. That's what I'm using. So after doing this one, I'll trim out the excess pad. So I'll now fix this one too. So I'll trim out the excess part that I have. So guys, to sew it, this is the one side of the front. I'll place it on the center side of the front, making sure that the two notch, the place where I notch it, that it's rhymed together. So after that, I will make use of my pen. So remember, the under bust of that person is 12 inches, and I might lost 4 inches in order to get the 12 inches. So this is the under bust. So to sew this padded, I'll mark 4.5 over 7 and over 7. The front will be longer than the back. So the next thing now is to sew it. You can use your pen to mark it. or rather you sew it that way. So I will start sewing. So I'll fix the other one as well. Now I'll measure the 4.5 again. So this is what I have, and this is exactly 7 inches. Remember I told you the nipples to nipples measurement of the person is 7 inches. Hope you can see it. From this line to this line is 7 inches. So the next thing I have to do now is to trim the inside. I'll trim the inside. After trimming the inside, I will now top stitch it. So after sewing the pad, as I show you while sewing it, looking at it, you see what I have. You see how curvy the cup looks. You see that? So this is the back. I've trimmed everything out. You see how neat the inside is. So the next thing I have to do now is to top stitch it. I need to top stitch it. So I'm top stitching it right away. So guys, as you can see, I'm done top stitching it. I've top stitched it. So this is the back. So the next thing I will do now is to carve the neck. Remember I told you I love carving the neck of my padded. That will be after sewing it. I don't like carving it while cutting it. I said so. So I'll fold the front part into two, as you can see, making sure that these two lines are together, they rhyme together. Even if this side they are not equal, but as far as this place is equal, you are good to go. So the neck I'm marking is sweetheart neck. So I'll measure 1 inch, or rather 1.5. I'll measure 1.5. So from here I'll connect it down to the 1.5. So I'll be cutting it this way. Sure you've seen it. So if I open it, this is what I have. This is called sweetheart neck. I hope you can see it. So after this, the next thing now is to sew the lining together with the center side. So I will now measure the 8 inches which I have at the down part. Then I also measure 4.5 as I measured at the front. Then I will sew. So when I get to the place where I mark 8, I'll curve it a little and then go straight. After sewing this, then I'll measure it on the pad to make sure that the lines on the line they rhyme very well with the lines on the front padded. So looking at this one, you will see that the lines on the padded is bigger than the lines on the lining. So I have to reduce what I sew from the lining in order to have equal lines. So as the face of the front of the line, the right side of the lining is facing the right side of the blouse, the padded, sorry, I will now run a stitch. I will use it to turn it up. I'm only trying to remove the beads on it so I can be able to sew it. So I'll start my sewing. So after sewing it, I will now notch it so it can balance, it can lap very well. So after this, now I will sew the two sides. But before I sew the two sides, I will also shake the lines to make sure that they are together. Then after that, I will also sew this side too. So after sewing the two sides, I will now turn it inside out. I hope you can see it. So I will now turn it inside out. Then I'll top stitch this place. The up, I'll top stitch the neck. So guys, I've top stitched the mouth. I hope you've seen how beautiful it looks. Now I'll sew the two sides and the down part too. So I'll sew the side now. So after sewing the two sides and the down, I'm trimming out the rough edge that I have. So at the back of this gown, I cut out a 1 inch from the downside, which I explained that the reason I cut out that 1 inch is so that if I attach a zipper on it, it will not have bulge. So because I lost half inch from the 1 inch from the front, I need to minus 1 inch. Because I minus 1 inch from the back, I need to minus 1 inch from the front also, and I will slant it. This one I won't be cutting the 1 inch directly, I will slant it as you can see. So I'll be trimming out this 1 inch which I slanted. My reason for it so that the side of the front and the back will be equal. So I'm cutting out the 1 inch which I might lost from the back because of the zip. I'll slant 1 inch from the side so that it will rhyme together. So I've cut it all out. This is what I have. So now I will sew the back. I need to sew the back now. I hope you can see the padded. I'll now sew the back. This is the back of this is the inner part of the front. You see how neat it is. So I'll be sewing the lining of the back. After sewing it, then I'll move to the downside of the fishtail gown. So guys, to sew the back, this is the back and here is the lining. So I'll place the right side of the lining facing the right side of the back. As you can see now, I will after that I'll sew the side of the zip. After sewing the side of the zip, I will now close this side. So after sewing it, I'll trim out the excess and launch the neckline. After launching the neckline, then I'll turn it inside out. So after this, now I will top stitch it. I'm sewing the side, the armhole area, then I'll sew the down parts. So now I'll trim out the rough edge, the excess of it. I'll trim it out. So after this, I will do the same at the other side. But on this one, I want to fix in the dart. So I'll measure the width of the dart to be 5.5. Because I added the zipper allowance is 2 inches. Then I use 4.5 inches to sew it by the side. I will have 1.5 left. Then if I add that 1.5 on the 4 inches, which I normally use for that, I'll have 5.5. So the length will be 4.5. So I'll sew this dart by 1/2 inch. I'll hold it this way and sew by 1/2 inch. Now I'll sew the dart of the skirt. So this is the one side of the, and here is the other one. So I'll join them together with 2 inches. Remember, I'll join them together with 2 inches. Remember, 2 inches is the I'll measure 2 inches until I get to the hip line. So looking at it, this is the hip line. So from here, I'll just sew it straight, following the curve on the cloth. To sew the darts, I've already marked it out, but I will explain. I measure 6 by 6. The zipper allowance which I put is 2 inches, so the inches for that is 4. So 2 plus 6, 4 is 6. Then the length is 6, the width is 6. So I've marked it to the both sides. So the next thing I have to do now is to sew it, holding it 2 inches by the side, and to sew. After sewing the darts, I will now join. I will attach the back, the half length to the down part, and also attach the front to the down part as well. Guys, I've sewed that. So now I'll join the back half length to the skate pattern and the front half length to the skate pattern. After joining it, then I'll take it to where I will close it. So I'll show you why closing it. All right. So now this is the zip I'm fixing. The size is size 20, and the gown I'm sewing is an off-shoulder gown. So size 20 will be enough for it. So I'll measure the length where the zip will stop. So I've measured it. So I place my zipper. Look at the front, look at the back. So I place the front of the zip on the front, the right side of the fabric. So I'll run a stitch on it. So guys, I've sewed one side. As you can see the front. Hope you can see that. So now I'll sew to this side too. I'll sew it till I get to the top. So I'll start from the line so that the lines will run together. So guys, I finally fixed the zip. So to this upper one, I need to tuck it in. I hope you can see it. So I'll fold it in between the clothes. Then I'll turn it up this way, and I'll run a stitch on it. So I will now join the both together and close it. Now I want to close the gown. As you can see, I've pinned it down. This is the front and this is the back. So the bust measurement of the person is 38 inches, and what I have here, remember 38, I will be dividing it by 2 instead of 4. So I have 24 and a half here in total. As you can see my hand, then 24, that's 8 divided by 2 will give me 19. If I might lose 19 from 24 and a half, I will have 5 and a half left. So I will mark 2 and a half to the both sides, though it should have been 3 and 2 and the 2 and, how do I call it? It should have been 2 and a half plus quarter. I don't know how to call it. 2 and a half plus quarter. That is it. But I'm marking 2 and a half to the both sides. So after marking 2 and a half from the waist, I'll go down to from the bust, I'll go down to the waist. This is the waist. The waist measurement is 36. 36 divided by 2 will give me 19. So what I have here is 23. You see that? 23. 23 and I lost 19 inches. I'll have 4 left. So I'll mark 2 inches to the both side. So I'll connect the lines. I also mark 2 inches from here. So then to the hip. From the waist I will measure 9 inches to get the hip. This is 9 inches. From the waist this side I'll measure 9 inches to get the hip. So the hip measurement is 44. 44 divided by 2 will give me 22. So what I have here on the hip is 26 minus 22. I'll have 4 left. So I'll mark 2 inches to the both side and I'll connect the lines. I'll also mark 2 inches to this side and I'll connect the line. So now I'll move down to the hip, to the nail. Remember my nail is 18. So I'll place the tape on the line which I mark for the hip and get my 18 for the nail. And I'll also do the same to this side and get 18 for the nail. After marking 18 for the nail, the next thing now is to mark. I have 22 on the hip. So I have 44 on the hip, which I divided by 2 give me 22. So I will minus 2 inches from 22. So I'll bring down 20 inches from the nail. So the measurement I have here on the nail is 25 minus 20. I'll have 5 left. So I'll mark 2.5 to the both side. 2.5 inches to the both side. So I'm marking the 2.5 inches. So after marking the 2.5 inches, I will now sew it from the bust down to the waist, from the waist down to the hip. So I will proceed by sewing the both lines. So looking at it, you can see that I'm sewing from the line which I marked. I'm sewing from the line which I marked. And I'm taking it gradually because there are some sequence on this lace. So if you sew it hard, it's gonna break my needle. So I'm taking it a step at a time. I started from the waist, heading down to the new length. Right guys, I've stitched it to the this side. Looking at what I have here, I've closed it. My gown is done. If it is food like we do say it, I'll say that I'm done cooking my food. So it remains to dish it out and serve. Though it's kind of cracking a joke. So guys, this is what I have, as you can see. So I'm keeping the camera so you can be able to see what I'm showing you. So the next thing now is to attach the sleeve. After attaching the sleeve, I'll show you how to fix the sleeve. After fixing the sleeve, I will now put it on a dummy for you to see the final look of it. Okay, I'm going to fold the sleeve. The place I'm folding is a place where I'll pass the elastic. I'll pass the elastic through it. So I'm folding it first, ½ inch, then I'll fold again. So after this now, I will pass elastic through it. So the next thing, and I will gather it on the sleeve. This is the sleeve. So guys, I'm done sewing the gathers. I hope you can see it. So this is the sleeve. Now I will attach this one. I will attach the armhole together. I will join them together. I'll join them together right away. So as you can see, this is the armhole. I'm going to sew it right now. Sewing this. So after this, I will join the other armhole. But before I join the other armhole, I'll pass the elastic through it first before I join. Through the elastic, then fix it inside the sleeve, as you can see. I'll remove my safety pin. So I need to hold the elastic on the cloth with a stitch. So I'll run a stitch in here. So after that, I'll now draw the elastic to a point that I want it to be. So you can see, I don't want it to be too loose and I don't want it to be too tight. So to measure the length, I'll hold it with a pin so I can be able to measure it. So what I have here is, what I have here is 7.5, rather 8 inches. 8 inches. So I'll cut out this elastic and run a stitch on it. After that, I'll now fix it back to the armhole. So after sewing it, I'll now close the sleeve. I'll hold it here and close it. So I'm closing it with the round sleeve. You have to measure the person round sleeve. Measure the person round sleeve on. So after this, I'll turn it for you to see the final look. This is the sleeve. Hope you can see how it is on my hand. So I'll put it on a dummy for you to feel it. I will hold it a little, though the dress is not for me, but I will hold it a little. So guys, I will do the same to the other sleeve and also fix it and close it the same way I work on this one. So I'll now weave this place, these rough edges. I'll weave it with English weaving machine. So guys, that is it all for both the sewing and the cutting. Thank you guys for watching my video. Please, if you've not subscribed, do well to subscribe. The subscription is free of charge. You are not gonna pay. Subscribe to my channel, like my video, share my video, comment, drop your comment on my comment box. If you have anything you want me to work on, send it on my comment box and I'll work it for you. Thank you guys, and I love you guys.